It's fine. The only reason for me to continue creating dance theater projects was if I relate them to the climate crisis. COVID also brought a special awareness to us. Now we are becoming aware that that which is not visible to us right away does affect us tremendously. I felt it's so urgent, it's so necessary that we put all our eyes and all our focus on it. I cannot just produce mere decoration or entertainment or spectacle. So I am part of this world. There is something at stake, and what I do relates to that and deals with that question. I'm a choreographer, theater maker, originally from Germany, living and working in the Netherlands since 1993. I've studied at the School for New Dance Development in Amsterdam. I had several collectives before I started my own organization in 2009 called NB Projects, now Nicole Beutler Project. I call myself a choreographer, but also theater maker. I studied fine arts for 3 years, and I studied physical theater for 2 intense years in workshops. And I studied German literature, and I have a background in languages, so in old languages, Latin and Greek. The way I entered the dance field was with all this knowledge of other art forms, and so I became a quite naturally an interdisciplinary theater maker. I create Gesamtkunstwerke where all the disciplines communicate with each other, which also fits very much to my world image, mein Wereldbeeld, that everything is entangled. So I don't isolate the art of dancing from the art form of creating theater. When I created the project METAMORPHOSIS, I felt it is time to focus on the emancipation of the male in our society. So there was a lot of thinking about the future as female, femininity as a new strategy to deal with our surroundings, to deal with Mother Earth, etc. And then I started to ask myself, where are the men in this story? We are here together, so the idea of what masculinity is or what the male is needs to be re-examined. In a way, it's a transformation ritual from stagnation, role play, let's say, of I'm playing the masculine force, towards possibility, gentleness, colorful, and also disappearing in the surrounding, disappearing in nature, post-humanist idea of the human is no longer center stage. And that was the first sort of transformative ritual. After that, I wrote a trilogy, which I will start working on in the next years, which is then called Rituals of Transformation. The title of the first piece is Ginkgo Tree, or 56 million years ago there were palm trees on the North Pole. And with this title I want to say that there is waves that the planet goes through. So maybe everything is heating up and maybe we are meant to disappear. The World Without Us was one of the books that inspired me very much, by Alan Weisman. He makes a thought experiment on what the world would look like if humans disappeared from one day to the next. So he travels the planet and speaks with scientists or specialists what would happen if humans disappeared. And what he depicts is quite exciting because it makes us aware of how much influence we have on the planet. For example, the Panama Canal is separating South America from North America in a quite brutal manner, quite violently. The moment humans would no longer be there, that would immediately grow together again. That is inspiring, like what happens if humanity is no longer there? We are not aware of the waste we leave behind, so for the first project I'm also very much curious and want to learn more about waste, working with waste, where does that go, what do we leave behind, what happens with it later, and how to be more aware in upcycling, recycling, etc. The attitude we need in this world, according to my conviction, is also what has been my working method in all my life, actually, in all my years, which is very much based on listening and on co-creation, non-hierarchical thinking, and seeing each other, listening to each other, and not being afraid of other opinions. The participation of the dancers and or the performers on stage happens then in the studio. What I give is the frame, the initial impulse, and the general philosophy behind the project. But in the studio, everything can happen. I sometimes draw a storyboard, quite often draw a storyboard where I create images that I strive for, that I see at that moment, but they're never the law. They're just a reference point. And then while working in the studio together, we can discover together what the piece will look like.
Waar we achter kwamen is eigenlijk het afval verdwijnt niet. Wij schuiven het eigenlijk naar buiten onze huizen en daar stapelt het op, we verbranden het en dan komt het eigenlijk allemaal weer terug in onze leefwereld.
Ja, en het is natuurlijk super chockerend om te zien dat je in je leven zoveel troep produceert.
We anyway get lost. It's part of every project. I have not encountered any project where, even when I was a dancer, where the director didn't get lost or we didn't get lost and ask ourselves, why did we start this? What does this mean? Who wants this? And one of my techniques at that moment is to trust in the process of wandering in the dark and to trust and listen to the other people I work with, to the co-creators. So I'm usually the director, the initiator. People look at me for finding answers. Often, sometimes I have an idea about the direction, but sometimes I don't. And then to be okay with that, and to say, and to listen to what the space needs, and to ask the others, what should we do? Creates a whole new space. Creates a much wider, much richer working circumstances, and also means that your collaborators own the work as well.
This is the future, and you are young. This is connected, and you're alone. This is for real, and you are here. This is happening, and you know it. This is the spotlight shining on you. This is now, neither past nor present. This is the house, and you have a hammer. This is the earth, and you are...
Having nonsensical moments is interesting and important in life. But when we go to theater, this should be the place to think and to reflect about humanity, about who we are in the planet, what we can mean. So I want to use that time very preciously. I don't change the world. I can't change the world, but I can engage together with the collaborators and with the people that enter that space, think about it, and perhaps that has an effect.